When Trump abruptly cut off Biden's access to top-secret intelligence, the nation watched in disbelief as decades of tradition crumbled in an instant. His defiant "Joe, you're fired" message blazed across social media, fueling fierce partisan debates. This high-stakes gambit has set the stage for a national reckoning over loyalty, legacy, and the very fabric of American security. On the morning of February 7, 2025, the halls of the National Intelligence Agency, NIA, buzzed with a mix of disbelief and outrage. In an unprecedented move announced on his Truth Social platform, President Donald Trump declared that he was revoking former President Joe Biden's security clearance and terminating his daily intelligence briefings. Trump's post ended with his signature catchphrase, "Joe, you're fired." He justified this action by insisting that Biden had, back in 2021, set the precedent by blocking Trump's access to classified national security information, a courtesy that former presidents traditionally enjoyed. Trump further cited a report by special counsel Robert Hur, which described Biden as an elderly man with a poor memory, implying that Biden was no longer trustworthy with sensitive secrets. This decision, though technical in nature, immediately set off alarm bells within the intelligence community. For decades, national security protocols had been carefully insulated from partisan politics. Now, it appeared that classified information was becoming yet another arena for political retaliation, a development that threatened to undermine the integrity of America's security apparatus. Among the officials grappling with this disturbing shift was Director James Carter, a seasoned head of the NIA known for his principled stance on safeguarding national secrets. Carter had dedicated his career to maintaining the nonpartisan integrity of the intelligence community. When news of Trump's decision reached his desk, he felt a deep sense of betrayal, not only as a public servant, but as a patriot entrusted with protecting the nation's core interests. Also on the front lines was Agent Sarah Thompson, a diligent mid-level officer whose steady professionalism had earned her respect among her peers. Sarah watched with growing concern as internal emails and whispered conversations began to circulate, revealing that Trump's move was not merely administrative, but a calculated act of political vengeance. Determined to halt this dangerous politicization of national security, Director Carter called an emergency meeting in a secured conference room deep within the NIA headquarters. The room was dimly lit, the weight of the decision hanging over every participant. At the head of the table, Carter's voice was calm yet resolute. "Colleagues," he began, "what we are witnessing is not simply a bureaucratic adjustment. It is a politicization of our sacred duty. Revoking a former president's access to classified information on the basis of personal vendetta is unprecedented and undermines the very principles we swore to uphold." Agent Thompson interjected, "Sir, the ramifications are enormous. If we allow our intelligence to become a tool in political warfare, we risk alienating our allies and compromising our sources. This is about the trust placed in us to keep secrets safe." Carter nodded, acknowledging her point. "Exactly. Our national security must remain above political squabbles. I have received numerous internal communications, and it is clear that many in this office fear this move will set a dangerous precedent. We must demand answers." That afternoon, Carter arranged for a closed-door meeting with Mark Stevens, the White House communications director tasked with conveying Trump's message to the intelligence community. In a tense encounter within the stately confines of the White House secure facility, Carter did not mince words. "Mr. Stevens," Carter said firmly, leaning forward so his voice carried in the silent room, "this revocation isn't a benign policy change. It's a deliberate act of retribution. You're using national security as a bargaining chip, and that compromises our entire system." Mark Stevens, his face tight with guarded resolve, replied, "Director Carter, President Trump believes that protecting our national security sometimes means making hard decisions. He sees this as returning the favor for what he perceives as Biden's earlier actions." Carter's eyes narrowed. Returning the favor? National security isn't a game of tit for tat. If we politicize classified information, we endanger every operative, every informant, and every partner abroad. This decision must be reviewed immediately. The discussion grew heated, and the tension in the room was palpable. Inside the corridors of power, whispers spread like wildfire. Within hours, the news of Carter's confrontation and the high-stakes meeting leaked to the media, igniting a social media storm. Hashtags such as hashtag #SecureOurNation and hashtag NotForPolitics surged as citizens and experts alike decried the politicization of secret information. Determined not to let this controversy fester in silence, Director Carter, bolstered by the support of Agent Thompson and other senior officials, decided to take matters into his own hands. He drafted a public statement condemning the use of classified information as a political tool, asserting that the integrity of national security must remain nonpartisan and inviolable. Simultaneously, he coordinated with his colleagues to ensure that all procedures for handling classified material would be scrutinized and that any deviation from established protocols would be immediately flagged. The internal atmosphere turned into a crucible of both righteous indignation and sober reflection. The media reaction was instantaneous and fierce. National outlets broadcast breaking news segments detailing Trump's announcement, and pundits took to airwaves with impassioned commentary. On Twitter, traditionalists decried the move as a betrayal of our nation's sacred trust, while some modernists argued that it was merely a technical decision, divorced from symbolic significance. On a popular cable news channel, two commentators engaged in a heated debate. Mark Reynolds, a conservative pundit, argued, Trump's decision is a necessary measure. If someone cannot be trusted with our secrets, they shouldn't have them. In contrast, liberal analyst Sarah Thompson retorted, this isn't about trust. It's about using national security as a pawn in political retaliation. It's dangerous, and it erodes the bipartisan foundation we desperately need. Meanwhile, within the halls of Congress, bipartisan lawmakers convened emergency sessions. Democratic leaders accused Trump of overstepping, while some Republican members cautiously defended the president's right to control security clearances. In an impassioned speech on the House floor, a prominent Democratic lawmaker declared, "Our national security must never become a tool for settling political scores. We must ensure that every measure we take is guided by principle, not revenge." Public sentiment was equally divided. In town hall meetings and community forums across the country, citizens debated whether this move would set a dangerous precedent. At a local diner in Pennsylvania, Samuel, a factory worker, lamented, "Our country's foundation is built on trust and respect for our traditions. When leaders use national security to settle scores, it feels like our very soul is at risk." At the same time, in a bustling college town, young activist Emily Reed argued in a campus discussion, while symbolic rituals are important, national security must be prioritized above all. If revoking access protects our country, then maybe this is a necessary evolution, even if it is painful. Inside the White House, the fallout was palpable. Michael Lawson and his colleagues continued to debate the decision. In a quiet corridor, Agent Thompson confided to Michael, "I worry that this politicization will have long-lasting consequences. Our partners overseas might lose faith in our impartiality." Michael nodded, his face grave. "We have to protect our integrity, or we risk losing everything that makes our intelligence community trusted and effective." As the pressure mounted from both internal and external sources, President Trump's stance began to evolve. Behind closed doors within the fortified walls of the White House, Trump convened an unexpected meeting with Director Carter. In a room where history and modern power collided, Trump sat down with Carter to address the growing storm. "Director Carter," Trump began, his tone unusually subdued, "I made my decision to protect our national security. But I see now that it has caused significant damage to our system and our nation's trust. I need to understand, what is it that we are risking here?" Carter responded with measured passion, "Mr. President, when you use national security as a tool for political retaliation, you undermine the very foundation of our government. Our country's allies, our intelligence sources, even our citizens, all rely on the principle that classified information is managed responsibly and without bias. This isn't just about you or me. It's about safeguarding our entire nation." Their dialogue grew more intense as the implications became clear. Trump's initial defiance gave way to a reluctant introspection. "I've always prided myself on protecting our country," Trump admitted, his voice softer now. "But perhaps I have allowed personal grievances to color my judgment. If my actions have eroded trust, even among my supporters, then I must reconsider." In a dramatic televised press conference that followed, Trump issued a rare public apology. Standing before a backdrop of American flags, he addressed the nation. "I understand that symbols matter to many of you. I now see that my decision to revoke classified access may have been perceived as a political maneuver rather than a genuine effort to protect our national security. I offer my sincere apologies to those who feel that I have undermined our sacred traditions. I promise to work closely with our intelligence community and our leaders to ensure that our national security remains above all political games." The public apology sent shockwaves through the nation. For many, Trump's admission marked a turning point, a small step toward reconciling deep partisan divides. Inspired by this unprecedented gesture, Reverend Michael rallied the community once more by organizing a series of interfaith prayer services held on the White House lawn. These services, broadcast live and widely shared on social media, became beacons of unity, drawing people from all walks of life to reaffirm their commitment to shared values. At one of these services, Reverend Michael addressed the congregation with heartfelt conviction. "Today, we stand together not just as believers in our traditions, but as custodians of our nation's future. Let this moment remind us that true strength lies in our unity, in our willingness to listen and to heal. Our sacred symbols are not relics to be dismissed. They're the living ties that bind us, even as we strive to innovate and move forward." Across the country, town halls and academic panels began to explore ways to integrate traditional values with modern governance. Bipartisan commissions were established to review and reform security clearance protocols, ensuring that decisions would be made based on nonpartisan criteria. The intelligence community, inspired by the dialogue, initiated sweeping reforms aimed at restoring trust and upholding the principles of impartiality and accountability. As months turned into a year, the national conversation shifted from heated outrage to thoughtful reflection. The controversy over revoking Biden's classified access became a catalyst, a watershed moment in the ongoing debate about national security, political accountability, and the role of sacred traditions in modern governance. In his final televised address, nearly a year later, President Trump reaffirmed his commitment to national security and unity. "True leadership," he stated, "is built on both respect for our heritage and the courage to innovate. I pledge to honor our traditions while forging a path toward a future that secures our nation and unites us all." Reverend Michael, now recognized as a key voice in bridging the divide, penned a reflective essay that resonated nationwide. "Our nation is not defined solely by the rituals of the past, but by our collective commitment to truth, compassion, and unity. Today, we begin a new chapter, one where every voice is heard and every heart is united in the quest for a better tomorrow." The legacy of the classified confrontation became a case study in political science and cultural studies, a reminder that even a single decision, rooted in personal vendetta, can ignite a profound national dialogue. Through the turmoil, America learned that while symbols and rituals may evolve, the core values of empathy, integrity, and unity must remain steadfast, binding a diverse people together in pursuit of a common destiny. In the end, the crisis not only spurred sweeping reforms within the intelligence community, but also catalyzed a broader movement to reimagine how tradition and modernity could coexist harmoniously. The nation, though scarred by division, found hope in the shared determination to rebuild a covenant between its leaders and its people, a covenant grounded in mutual respect, transparency, and a collective vision for the future.